seeing a little insight into the future when the electricity system will drop by 20% in terms of its generation in Victoria when they turn off an existing coal-fired power station. And Brad Rowswell is the Shadow Energy Minister in Victoria, and he joins us now from Melbourne. What we are seeing now is not good enough. The idea that it has taken this many days to get diesel generators to the good people of regional Victoria yet again shows the contempt that this government has for regional Victoria. But tell us more about the problem here, Brad.
Always great to be with you, Paul. Look, 2 weeks ago tomorrow, there were major storm events in the state of Victoria. It involved flooding, it involved some serious rain as well. So the Yallourn mine was flooded, which powers the Yallourn power station. That power station has been reduced to about 12.5% of its energy output capacity as we speak today while that's being fixed. But the major issue that's happening in Victoria is that some 2,500 Victorian homes and businesses in this state, 2 weeks on from the Victorian storm event, are still without power today. Now, the government, the Victorian Labor government in this state, was slow to act. And Paul, to say that it's a disgrace is a real understatement. They were sluggish. They were slow to act in the first place. As I say, this storm event was 2 weeks ago. What the Victorian government should have done, quick smart, was call in the army, call in those very experienced, well-credentialed, honest and hard-working men and women of the Australian Defence Force to help clear roads, to help clear trees, to door knock, to do welfare checks, and to help, as we know, the ADF do so well. But they were slow to act. They only called in the Australian Defence Force to help a couple of days ago. What the Victorian government should have done was supply generators to those people who are without power. Now, they made an announcement on the weekend, 4 days after I called and the Liberal Party here in Victoria called for generators to be provided. They announced 200 generators. Now, 100 of those generators, Paul, are actually being donated by Bunnings, but there are still 2,500 Victorian homes and businesses without power. So those 200 generators don't even cover 10% of the homes and businesses who remain without power in this state. I would have thought that at its very foundational levels, a basic thing that is required of state government is to ensure that the power is on. And by that measure, the Victorian Labor government have failed Victorians.
Well, and as you say, we've got this scenario where the power's been out for 2 weeks. For some people, that'll get it back in the next, day and a half. But for a huge number of people, they're going to have to wait until the middle of July. If this had been in Melbourne or somewhere else in Victoria, they would have acted faster. What is the apparent reason why people in and around this part of the state need to suffer?
But Paul, it gets worse than that. One of the epicentres of this disaster that I visited with some of my colleagues over the weekend is in fact in the acting Premier's own electorate, in the Dandenong Ranges. Now, the power outages spread beyond the acting Premier's electorate to the seat of Evelyn in the Yarra Valley and out to some other colleagues' electorates as well. But the epicentre, arguably, is in the acting Premier's own seat. You would have thought that even set aside him being the acting Premier, that through the perspective of a local member, that this bloke would have got off his backside, rolled up his sleeves and gone into bat for his local residents, for his local small businesses, and said, we are going to do everything we can as a state government. We're going to throw everything behind this to get your power on as soon as we possibly can. But you're right, Paul. These homes, these businesses, it's anticipated by AusNet, the service provider, that there'll be around 3,000 homes and businesses without power in Victoria for 3 weeks. Paul, we are not a third world country. We are a first world country. What will it take for this government to recognise that power, something as basic as power, as essential as power, is an essential service, is a core responsibility of a state government? And as I say, from what they've done to date, from their actions, from their inaction, they are failing Victorians.
Appreciate the chat, mate. They are failing on many a front. Brad, thank you for sticking up for those people. We will keep sticking up for them as well.